Yes. Hello, we are gathered to conduct yet another debate, and the topic that we got today is traditional employment is better than entrepreneurship. And I'll be supporting the motion, whereas Kim will be against it. And yeah, let me start. Uh, Let me break the bubble that there's always a consideration that entrepreneurship means more freedom, but it is not always the case. And traditional employment provides a lot more safety and freedom as compared to the entrepreneurship. Today, I have around 6 points to support why I feel so. Firstly, about the safety that it provides. Like when you have traditional employment, you might get a lot of perks like insurance benefits, internet, free travel, maybe some petrol bills. So a lot of considerations are done in that line. Secondly, about the experience. If you have no experience and if you're starting directly into entrepreneurship, I guess it is not a very good start. Like you should have some idea of how the company is working, how what is happening in the company. Otherwise, you'll be wasting the whole time to work on know it by yourself. Thirdly, about the initial investment, yes, it is my major point, and I would strongly emphasize on this that for entrepreneurship, you should have a good initial investment, and you might not even get a good return rate. My next point would be about discipline. In the state of social media, where people go through a lot of depressive and mental traumas, I believe that going to a traditional employment is much more safer option than choosing entrepreneurship, because it you might not be motivated every day to do for yours to do something for yourself which you are not even generating some income from. Like you, it might take a lot of time to get a significant income, and for that reason I feel traditional employment is far better. My next point will be about generating leads and network. Traditional employment has a lot of network and leads already existing, so you don't really have to find for work. But in entrepreneurship, maybe you have started a small business, but you will always have to find for somebody, some customer to avail that business for you. So for that flaw again, I feel traditional employment is much more safer as compared to entrepreneurship. And my last point would be about there are many startups which are coming nowadays, but most of them, are based in foreign and not in India, and because of the heavy taxes and the whole process is becoming so cumbersome that it is very difficult for any new company to a company to establish a very strong startup. So these were some 6 points why I strongly feel I feel the need to break the bubble, that burst the bubble, that traditional employment is much more safer as compared to entrepreneurs. Yeah. Thank you. Over to Yuki.
Yeah, those are some wonderful points, Kevin. Now, I'd like to favor my topic, which is that entrepreneurship is better than traditional employment. So, I'd like to begin with the key point that why I feel entrepreneurship is better than traditional employment, which is the flexibility in time. Like you've said, traditional employment, it's a 9 to 5 job, right? And you need to be present there 9 to 5 continuously. You cannot just walk out of a 9 to 5 job if you want to have like maybe a lunch with a family or friend, or you just want to check up on someone, or there's a family emergency. You cannot simply just walk out of office and go and do this while there are important things. Maybe there's a very important meeting at office, but you cannot just leave that and walk out. Whereas entrepreneurship, there is a flexibility of time, so doing such things will be possible in that case. Secondly, I feel like a traditional job has a fixed salary, like you will be getting a fixed amount every month. You'll probably progress in terms of your salary over the years, but that will be like a slow progress, and for the month like you have a fixed amount. Whereas in entrepreneurship, it depends on how much hard work and how much of innovation you put into your startup, which is going to determine the amount of, you're going to get back the return on the investment that you've put in. So I feel like you have a greater control over it when it comes to entrepreneurship, and control in the sense of increasing it for your own progress and betterment. Then I feel like there's multi-directional growth when it comes to entrepreneurship. In traditional, you're on a track, you're doing the same thing 9 to 5, 24/7. Whereas in entrepreneurship, it could be multi-directional in terms of you venturing into different roads instead of just sticking to one path. Like for example, I have put up say like maybe a gym I've set up in Margao. I still have the option to do better at my gym and invest that money into opening a gym at another location, right? So in that terms, I can increase my streams of income, increase my setups. So I feel like there's a lot of more scope for progress in terms of entrepreneurship as compared to traditional. Then I feel like entrepreneurship has helped a lot of people to work from home, like you earlier stated, baking businesses during our idealization part. Yeah, so they can monetize their hobbies. So in terms of, there are so many things like people. I'm doing the debate. So, my brother.
Let's
So so you can monetize on your hobbies, right? Like if it's baking, you can do baking. Then people have started things like candle making or invitations. So things like that can be monetized. Whereas in a traditional job, you wouldn't probably even have time to get into all of this. Then I feel like if in case there's a family emergency, you cannot simply put in a last minute leave, or just pack up and leave. Especially if you maybe you're working overseas, then getting leave for such kind of situations can be very difficult. Whereas in entrepreneurship, you're the boss and you decide when and where you want to work and make the adjustments accordingly. So that is a huge advantage in entrepreneurship. Nextly, I feel like there's a lot of scope for networking and entrepreneurship, since there's a need for you to grow your business. So in this process, you meet a lot of people, you learn to network better, and you just end up knowing a lot of more people and being in a lot of social scenarios that you wouldn't have been if you were into a traditional job. Lastly, I feel like you get a lot of time for your personal interests, like working out. Like we say that it is a 9 to 5 job and you have all the hours, remaining hours of the day. But is a 9 to 5 actually a 9 to 5? What if you were commuting 2 hours to get to your workplace? Then it would be a 7 to 7. And then you come back home and you're all tired and you have no time and you don't have the energy, honestly speaking, to get into your interests. So I feel like entrepreneurship provides you that flexibility of choosing from where you want to work and how many hours you want to work. You have a greater control over all those factors. Then I feel like you have an opportunity to generate employment when you are in an entrepreneurship kind of a setup. Like for example, if I'm doing my construction business, I'm generating so much income for in terms of laborers, finance managers, just overall. So I feel like you have a greater role to play, like as a generator of income. So that would be good. Then yeah, there's a lot of, like you said, that in traditional methods already there's a lot of thing already set up for you in terms of networking knowledge. But here you have an opportunity to rely on yourself and independent in terms of learning new things that might come up in your path as you go ahead. So yeah, I feel like entrepreneurship could provide you with all those opportunities. And my last point is that although the road through entrepreneurship might be a little twisted and a little harder, the fruits of it are definitely going to be sweeter because the work involved is hard and smart. So yeah, with that I rest my case, and I feel like entrepreneurship is way better than traditional employment.
uh, rebuttal phase.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I'll start with a question. Don't you feel, Kim, that entrepreneurship, like a small business, will not generate a lot of income? Like, it is more considered to be a side business than a whole mainstream business.
Okay. But something is better than nothing, right? Mostly people who get into entrepreneurs, like home businesses, they are the ones who are just maybe like homemakers, or people who could not get into the traditional path. Like, people who have already been so educated, like we have so much of education with us. Even we've seen like there's unemployment in engineers. So they have so much of this education backing them up, and still they're struggling to find jobs. Then these people will find it even more difficult, right? Those who don't have educational backups and things like that. But entrepreneurship is still giving them an opportunity to put into use their hobbies and their interest and monetize out of it. So I feel like, to answer your question, that it does help them, and maybe not focusing on, you're saying that it's a smaller income, but I still feel it's better than no income at all. It helps them to be independent and rely on themselves rather than being unemployed at home. So yeah. um Okay, from my side, you said that there's a lot of investment involved in entrepreneurship as compared to a traditional method. But what if I have to consider a job? Say, for example, I need an MBA to get into this consultant role.
Mm.
I'm again spending around 20 lakhs into an MBA, right? So that's still an investment. Whereas entrepreneurship, I could still get into it with maybe investing even lesser or more depending on what my idea is. But still, there's an investment involved in both the sides. So how can you say that there's only an investment involved in the entrepreneurship side and not in the traditional side?
Yeah, that is a very good question. To answer that, I feel it also depends on the return of investment. Whereas when you go for a degree oriented jobs or traditional
Yeah.
employment, you are more viable to get a very return of investment very soon as compared to entrepreneurship. Whereas entrepreneurship, it does not really like, it might take a lot of time to cover that investment, initial investment, or it might not even take you might not even reach there in entrepreneurship, as you have less more risks in that. So in consideration of return of investment, I feel initial investment is a major concern there.
Okay, but aren't traditional jobs subject to competition in the market for jobs? Like, what if I'm not able to seek a job because of heavy competition in the market? Then again, I'm not getting a return on my investment, right?
mm, uh,
Say, for example, universities in the UK,
mm,
they are providing you master's courses, but they aren't guaranteeing you campus placements, right?
yes.
So you don't have a guaranteed return on investment there, right? So
Yes,
yeah, sorry.
but I think that is also the case for the entrepreneurship. You might be competing with very tech big giants, like nowadays we have e-commerce, and like maybe you are selling maybe a papad, and there might be still very cheaper papad available on e-commerce, and like somewhere out there. So there's always a competition, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
My next.
Yeah, I agree that you're saying that it's not going to be easier in the entrepreneurship side, but you cannot. What I was trying to say is that you cannot assume that it's very easy on the traditional side either.
Okay. My next question to you, Kim, will be about that. Some jobs can never be done through entrepreneurship. For example, maybe a pilot in a airplane. You can't really
Yeah.
cover it up through entrepreneurship. So, what do you have to say for that?
Yeah, of course, some jobs cannot be a part of entrepreneurship, maybe. But again, like a pilot could maybe, if he wanted to be an entrepreneur, then he could get into other things, right? Like coaching students, maybe to get into, like, to answer competitive exams that require for the pilot courses and things like. If he wanted to be an entrepreneur, of course, certain roles cannot be like. I mean, there are proper jobs of in place for bigger entrepreneurship programs. Like a pilot is a part of someone's like a bigger entrepreneurship scheme, right? Like the airline. So yeah, those are roles that are a part of the entrepreneurship. But if at all a pilot as an individual would want to get into entrepreneurship, then of course there are options for him to do that, I think.
Yes. If if entrepreneurship is easier, why don't you think there is a lot of startup coming from maybe places like Goa? And can you list some of the startups which are like very high, is competing with the global market?
Yeah, why aren't startups yet in Goa? That's your question, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I feel like all the points that you've just stated about traditional employment, those are some of the major reasons why there isn't a lot of entrepreneurship in Goa. Like, it is intrigued into our mentality that traditional jobs are a safety net and there's way lesser risk and uncertainty involved in a traditional job as compared to an entrepreneurship. I feel like we are still getting onto that path of entrepreneurship wherein people are still getting themselves accustomed to the idea that they can set up things by themselves. People, I feel there's a lot of ignorance when it comes to entrepreneurship for now. Like people are still educating themselves on the various ways that they could get into it. I mean, all of these things are very alien to, at least to me, right? For now, investing, different types of investors, just the whole idea of getting into a business, it's a lot, right? Like if we have to know. So I feel like it's still, it's, people will take their time, but then eventually I feel like it will get into force more in Goa. And to answer the second part of your question, startups in Goa, then I don't really have an idea of a
Yeah.
lot of startups in Goa. Yeah, maybe I'll have to read about it a little.
Uh,
Okay, then you had stated about entrepreneurships, like a negative side of it being heavy taxes, right?
yes.
Yeah, but maybe there could be alternate methods, right? Maybe we are not aware of it as well, because
Mm,
I've heard like people who have larger businesses, they take loans and things like that to minimize their taxes. Then there are also like tax-free countries such as the UAE. People, business people, they usually try to center their transactions in such countries where the taxes are very low. So I feel there are always loopholes around which you can go if in case you want to deal with taxes in your entrepreneurship. Yeah. Anything else? Um, you have also stated like one of the major points of for a traditional job is that it's a 9 to 5, and then you have flexibility after that. But don't you think like yeah, like I had stated about the whole commute and then getting tired after the job, like it being almost 7 to 7. So then you don't have time for your own self. You're very drained of energy. So what do you have to say about that?
Mm, for, when I say freedom of time, it is also mental freedom. Like when you are having being a boss of some entrepreneurship or some startup, you are responsible for covering up, making sure that it stays every single day, and not like but you are when you are doing any traditional employment, you don't have to take all that load. You just have to go work, do your work, have some experience, come back. So you don't really come home with some pressure in mind, like, but in the entrepreneurship it is always like you are surviving for another day. So that for that concept, I feel there's a lot of freedom involved in traditional employment.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
Okay, I think that's
my
all from my side for rebuttal.
my
Yeah.
last question to you, Kim, would be, don't you think in like for initial for some experience going through traditional employment is much better to understand the company dynamics and understand people, like how they are functioning, and then to go for, maybe if you're going for entrepreneurship, then after that you can go for entrepreneurship.
That could be one approach. Like it depends on how comfortable an individual is. If you feel better learning through a previously well set up path for you and then get into something of your own, then if that works for like an individual, then that could be a good path for them. But then there are also others who prefer learning from their mistakes and learning things by themselves. So I think it really depends on the personality of an individual, and if he or she is comfortable going through a traditional path first and then switching to entrepreneurship, then that could be good for them. But if there are again people who would not want to unnecessarily invest their time, who think of their time as a greater investment, and who wouldn't want to waste their potential into a 9 to 5, may want to directly get onto their own path and yeah, make their own mistakes and learn eventually with time. So yeah, I feel it really depends on an individual.
Yeah, that is it, Kim. That's from my side. Yeah, feedback. Yeah, feedback part. Do you have any feedbacks? Feedback. One thing I came to know: feedback is a singular, like plural of feedback is also feedback. It is not feedbacks.
Yeah, yeah, feedback sounds wrong.
Wrong.
Feedbacks sounds wrong.
You have any
Feedback.
feedback?
I like that you use that burst the bubble thing.
Yeah.
You're using nice proverbs in the. Realized in the recent debates. Yeah, I think you're really working on that, and all the points also were well organized.
Yes.
Yeah, some points I also agreed to, but then I had to.
Yeah.
Uh,
Stick with yourself.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, that's all I think from my side. Yeah.
from your side, I like some of the word, like you started by saying favor, then multi-dimensional, multi-directional, safety net. Some were nice word. I had one doubt: is it laborers or laborers? Maybe we'll check it.
Laborers,
Laborers. Okay.
laborers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because RERS, no, so that becomes RERS.
laborers. Yes.
Laborers.
Uh, one more thing, maybe you could have used the term as subsidies when you were telling entrepreneurship get some benefits as well. Like you were speaking about loopholes. So some maybe there are some subsidies from government itself who are powering startups, like who are
Yeah,
supporting
yeah.
startups. So
I
maybe
should have
subsidies
mentioned
was a
something
better
about
word.
that. Yeah.
And from both the side, I felt today there was a little lack of examples. Maybe you could have given better examples, like you said about like, Kendall and all, right? Do you know that Mahila Mandal concept which is going in Goa? Like there are groups,
Self-help
self-help
groups.
groups. Yes, yes. Maybe
Yeah, I could
from
have
there,
mentioned
Papad.
that.
I also mentioned about Papad, so maybe that time you could have mentioned them. But
Yeah.
otherwise, yeah, that's it. We were good, and yeah, that is it. Maybe we lacked little knowledge about like how startups are actually started and all, but we can
Yeah.
cover it up in ChatGPT phase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because we don't, I mean, I don't know much like about this topic.
yeah,
If you go to
same.
see like whatever generated, we generated by ourselves, like the
Yes,
points.
yes,
Maybe that's
that's right. That's okay.
we are going
Let's
to the
think from
chat
other
GPT to
perspective.
other
Yeah, let's think from
perspective.
other perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, Kim, we could go ahead.
Yeah.
You need more
Should I
time?
begin?
Yeah, yeah, you can share.
Okay. So now I'm speaking in favor of traditional
Yeah.
jobs, right? Yeah. Um, just a minute. Yeah. So if we see in entrepreneurial jobs, the stress is insane.
Mm,
Like they have to continuously work and see that there's actually something productive coming out of out of the business. So I feel like there's insane amount of stress involved, which could take a toll on your health.
mm,
So things like stress, obesity, diabetes, all of these seem like if there is a lot of stress involved, so that could be a disadvantage. Then I feel like the traditional path is a easier roadmap for those who lack entrepreneurial skills.
mm,
Like not everyone is an entrepreneur and not everyone has the skills to do that. So for the larger mass of the population, maybe getting their education and getting into a traditional job could be a way easier, less stressful and straightforward path. So that could be a good thing. And there's a lot of certainty involved, like we've said. So then I feel like traditional jobs provide you a lot of facilities such as insurances
mm.
for your health, for your own health, and even that of your family. So that could be a plus point. Then even it takes care of you after your retirement. Like a lot of jobs provide schemes and things like that. So that could be a advantage of traditional jobs. Then I feel like there are fixed vacations involved for traditional jobs. So at that point of time, you can just completely switch off your phone, maybe, and entirely be present with your friends and family mentally and physically, which is not the case in entrepreneurship, wherein you need to continuously be on the hook and see that things are going orderly.
Yes.
So that could be a very large advantage
Yes.
in a traditional job. The fixed salary, again, you're getting a fixed salary every month. There is no, like, your salary doesn't depend on the performance of your business. So you have a fixed salary out of which you know that you're going to how you're going to spend your salary. So a fixed amount of it is dedicated to investments, another fixed is for your expenses, another for maybe for your entertainment. So it's very systematic, very organized, and very certain. There is very less amount of very less as compared to entrepreneurship stress involved. So yeah, for these reasons, I feel like traditional could be better
Right.
for certain
Yes.
individuals.
Yes. Yeah, just to add on to you, like they were really good points. Just to acknowledge, I forgot completely one side, government jobs. I could have stressed a lot on government jobs, which are traditional jobs, and
Yeah,
stated something like IAS, IPS. You get so much benefits, and yeah, that is one
yeah,
path I forgot. Okay, speaking from your perspective, firstly, I would have mentioned about a lot of schemes and like incubation centers. And currently, Shark Tank is also going in so much trend. So people are much more invested into entrepreneurship. So that was one point I could have mentioned. Secondly, if not, it is a good side business. Like if you have some hobbies, like I have a hobby of playing violin. Maybe one in a weekend I can go for maybe mass to play violin. Something somewhere I could get some. Do they pay in mass? Just asking.
it depends. Yeah,
Depends.
they can pay you, and especially if you do like your own choir and things like that, you can
Oh, yes.
monetize.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I can, for my hobbies, I can do some side business and get generate much more income. That could I could have said that. Uh, Nowadays, freelancers gigs are in a trend, and like a lot of people try to do that. So as per the trend, it is stated. You could have maybe mentioned that. And last thing I would have stated, like all the tech giants nowadays, ChatGPT, Perplexity, then or maybe Meta, Google, everything started from entrepreneurship, and we cannot deny the return of investment would be so much higher for them. So it is just about
yeah,
taking risk and going in one direction. So maybe I could have given you could have given those examples.
yeah.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah. And one more thing is layoffs. Like I was saying that
I wrote it down and I forgot in the rebuttal phrase. I literally wrote it down, safety, and I put question mark layoffs.
layoffs. Layoffs. I wrote it down while thinking from your perspective. Yeah, that is it.
Actually, now during the traditional part, I saw that as the first point, and I'm like, what layoffs? Like, I can't say it in the traditional part, right?
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
I forgot I had written it for the rebuttal.
yeah. That is
Okay,
it.
chat.
Maybe a small group discussion, then we go to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
What do you find good, entrepreneurship or traditional employment?
It depends, no, on the personality of the person.
Yes,
Like I said, you need to have a certain skills like for
yes,
entrepreneurship. What would you prefer,
Yeah,
Kiman,
even
for
I
yourself?
realize it depends on person. Like if the person has
Yeah,
a lot of leadership skills, then or managerial
yeah,
skills, then entrepreneurship is better. Otherwise, it's not. I think it is
yeah.
just
Like
like
you
working
need to
for
have good communication, right, for networking,
networking.
and then you need to able to be you need to be good with dealing with stress. Like I feel
Yes, yes. Uh,
it
my
shouldn't affect you that
my
bad.
answer to that will be I definitely want to try entrepreneurship, but not now. Now I don't
Yeah,
feel I'm capable of that. I
yeah,
feel traditional employment is the
tension.
best. Until and unless you earn something, you won't really get that boost to do something on your own. I feel so for me. uh, so yeah, I think traditional employment is a better option, but definitely I
Yeah,
want to try. Like I have talked with Ayush also many a times that entrepreneurship is something I would love to do after 5 6 years.
yeah, yeah. Maybe eventually later. Even I feel the same. Like, not right now. Like maybe later after
Yes.
a little money and skill has been in.
And yes,
Then
and better network
yeah,
also. Also,
yeah.
Kim, I really like that point of yours that in investment, like prior investment is like higher even in the traditional employment. Like you spend so much on
Mm,
your. I really love that point, degree and all. Maybe that is
yeah,
also one reason why we are not going to entrepreneurship line, because we have already spent so much on our degree and we feel we should
yeah.
do that and then do something.
Because then you feel like that money isn't really giving you a return if you just now jump into entrepreneurship,
Entrepreneurship,
right?
yes, yes, yes. Maybe just realize I could have also used terms like passion. Like it is also about passion. It's if you don't really have passion, like everybody doesn't have any passion to do something. So if you don't have, most of the people don't have. So traditional employment is better option. Maybe I could have said that. Yes,
Hmm. Yeah, we could have focused a little on qualities of, like, we didn't mention any such qualities, right?
quality,
Passion, interests, all
interest.
of this.
Yes.
So,
Uh, yes. I just remembered this podcast from Nikhil Kamath that he said that if you don't have passion, then you'll be brutally killed in a some startups or entrepreneurship. But otherwise, like if you don't really have passion for something, then you should just switch to traditional employment, and that is I
yeah,
think a very good valid point.
yeah.
Yes.
Sticking to it, I think, needs passion.
Passion
Otherwise, you'll just get demotivated initially, especially when
initially,
things
especially.
are,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we'll go for ChatGPT. But do you have anything else to
ChatGPT.
discuss on the topic traditional employment versus entrepreneurship?
All right.
No, yeah, yeah.
Fine. We can go to
We
ChatGPT.
can go to. Shall we discuss game or
Yeah,
you got any points?
just
Yeah, yeah.
just a minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a
Mm,
second. Yeah. Yes. Go ahead. You get started.
let's start.
Yes.
Okay. First, I'll speak on the entrepreneurial side. So, it has a lot of personal satisfaction involved
Mm,
when you work hard and you actually reap the fruits of your hard work.
mm,
So, in that case, there'll be a lot of personal satisfaction. Then, like we previously said, there's freedom and independence involved, and a huge scope for creativity, which could be highly suppressed in a traditional job. So, that is a good point. Then I feel it's better for, like we've said earlier, it's really based on the personality of an individual. It's better for people who value independence, creativity, and risk taking, entrepreneurship. Then I feel like there's a direct link between effort and reward. In a traditional job, you might be working very hard, putting in extra time, efforts, but you still end up with the same salary, right?
mm.
And many a times your efforts might not even be validated and you might not get the recognition that your work actually deserves. But in the case of entrepreneurship, your efforts and the reward they're directly proportional. So that could be very good for an individual in entrepreneurship. Then I feel like entrepreneurship requires a person to be multidimensional when it comes to their knowledge and the information that they know. So we can see like people getting into, like, they need to update themselves with knowledge about finance, marketing,
Mm.
technology all at once. Like
All right.
they need to such information to be handy to themselves. So I feel like intellectually it could be a good thing for an individual.
Mm,
So, and after that, my next point would be adapting to the future. Like you've said, like Meta, Facebook, they are all come up from entrepreneurial ideas, and they need to constantly keep up with all the AI coming up. So there's constant involvement of new ideas and innovation, creativity. All of that might be lacking in the traditional side. And lastly, I feel like entrepreneurships have a better contribution to society because they're directly linked to the population and goods that people consume or services that people consume. So it has a greater contribution to society. And lastly, I feel if like you are an individual who has gotten yourself into entrepreneurship and you're doing well, then what you're leaving behind is a legacy for your family and
mm,
your next generations to maybe continue. Like I have a friend who was telling me her brother has got into an MBA college in Pune, and like most of the students there, they don't even want to sit for a job interview because they come from families who are entrepreneurial families. So they are just going to take their degree and go back to their family business. So they have a well set up. It's stressful, like we've said, for first time entrepreneurs maybe, but then subsequently for their families, I think
yes.
it's way better for them.
That's a very valid
So
point.
that,
And like
yeah, that,
some examples
yeah,
could be Tata, Ratan Tata, and like
yeah,
Ambani.
everything is well set up, right?
Yes.
Again, then it becomes like a traditional path for them, but it's actually entrepreneurial
Mm,
based.
mm,
So yeah, that could be a good thing, leaving behind a legacy for
yes.
your family and having a very large impact on society, of course, at the same time. And nextly, speaking on the side of traditional employment, I feel there is a financial safety and less burden with respect to stress. And especially when you're joining a job and you're signing a contract, you're legally safer as compared
Mm,
to an entrepreneurship where you could just be, fired and things like that. So I feel like there's legal and financial safety involved in the traditional path. And nextly, I feel like there's automated pilots and things like that, things that require very specialized
mm,
information. Like even if I'm a surgeon, maybe I need to associate like do it by myself. Maybe yeah, I can sell my services, but
but not the
again,
yeah.
I need to be associated with a larger institution for that. So I feel those are traditional paths that are very important for society still, and there's no way we can do away with it or take an alternate path in those domains. So yeah, in that regard, traditional methods are the way to go. And lastly, I feel there's a lot of structure and growth involved. Like there are increments every year for traditional employees.
Mm,
So for people who value security, safety, low risk taking, a more safety net kind of an approach, then I feel for those individuals, traditional jobs would be the path and not entrepreneurship. So yeah, that's all.
Yes, very well said. I don't really have any much points, but some terms. Maybe we could have used terms like stability and work-life balance. When freedom we were mentioning, we could have said about work-life
Yeah,
balance.
work-life balance. Yeah,
Yes,
actually, that's a very key term.
key term. Yes, yes, we kind of forgot.
Missed out on.
Yes. Then one thing I wanted to say, it is not uncertainty; it is uncertainty. I just verified
Oh,
it. And
uncertainty.
yes, and I was just finding out if government is doing anything for startups or entrepreneurship. So I came up came there are many schemes. One of them was like, you are not supposed to pay income tax for 3 years, and that is a good thing, I guess. Then yeah, there are many schemes, as you have mentioned, that we are not aware of. One thing I
Hmm.
wanted to say, what is entrepreneurship? What exactly comes under entrepreneurship? Maybe if we knew this, we could have got very much more points. Like for
Yeah,
example, small business, local shop, restaurants, they all come under entrepreneurship.
yeah.
Then scalable startups like tech, like ChatGPT and all. Then social entrepreneurship like NGOs, they also come in entrepreneurship. Uh,
Hmm.
and freelancers, creators, content creators, like innovative entrepreneur, whoever does on social media, they also come in entrepreneurship. So yes,
Yeah.
having this knowledge, maybe we could have spoken a lot more about entrepreneurship, but points would have been same, just maybe some better spectrum.
Yeah, just the examples. I didn't really think of the last two that you said, NGOs and content creators.
Content creators, yes, yes,
Yeah, they are entrepreneurs as well.
yes.
Mm.
And from traditional side, I completely forgot about government jobs. Like it would have given me weightage.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah,
yeah,
that is it. It was really lovely. Like we did not know anything, but then still we had a best discussion.
yeah. We had a good debate, I
Yes,
feel.
yes.
There were good points on both the
Yes,
sides.
yes. Even if we knew a lot of things, I think points would have been the same, but bit twisted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just the examples, I feel we didn't have a lot of
lot of
information.
examples. Yes, yeah,
Yeah, we didn't have that,
yeah.
but I think it's fine, like
It's fine.
not
It's fine.
knowing that.
Totally fine. It was really best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Kim, or can we stop the meet and join tomorrow?
No, right? That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it. That's it.
That's all.
Yes. Yeah. It was great.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow we are doing South India versus North India. South Goa versus North Goa, right?
South Korea versus North Korea.
Yes.
Research topic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Who's Teresa is joining?
Yeah,
And
Triza and
Ayush?
you and I'll be alone mostly. Hers won't be there.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Fine.
So, bye, Kim. Take
Yeah.
care.
Thank you,
Yes.
Human. Thanks for today.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Yeah.